Well, joining me today is Charlie Begley. He's with EverDry Waterproofing. And Charlie, a dry waterproof basement can add so much value to a home.
Oh, Gary, I mean, this is a perfect example here. We'll create another whole level of living space, anywhere from 30 to 50% more.
In fact, I was talking to the homeowner. He's been able to incorporate all kinds of hobbies. He's got the drains, he's got this pool table. It's beautiful. In fact, the history of this home is interesting.
It's a perfect example. He grew up in this home, actually, his father, parents, and everybody, and bought the place in '03. The basement was totally unlivable. I guess had the dry rots, the molds, water running in.
You see that a lot when you get to people's homes, don't you?
Oh, yes.
The basement's just uninhabitable.
And a lot of them aren't that bad, but they're getting to that point, so, you know, it's time to get something done and get it done before it gets too bad.
They don't fix themselves, do they?
No, sir. No, sir, they don't.
And he certainly hasn't been able to incorporate a lot of things in the basement, like we said, a lot of his hobbies. Also a nice little sitting area for the TV. Is it safe to say the value of this home increased dramatically?
Oh, I would say dramatically, Gary. Again, it's another whole level of living space. Of course, having the EverDry system put in will always add value to your home.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the EverDry system, because there's people that waterproof homes and there's people that really waterproof homes. EverDry certainly does that. Let's start with the process. Actually starts on the outside of the home.
Yeah, we'll start outside. We'll open an inspection trench. We're looking for cracking, any type damage. We dig that all down, make all the repairs. We'll install a drainage system on the outside.
And what purpose does the drainage system on the outside?
Carry away any surface water, take the pressure off of the walls, actually.
So you're actually eliminating the water from the sides of the home.
Yes,
right? All right. Now, on the inside, we see this nice floor, nice little acid stain it's got going on. Very, very nice. But is there work that needs to be done on the inside of the home, too?
What we do, we're going to come in and open basically another inspection trench on the inside. We're looking for damage to the footer, you know, any undermining, anything like that we find. Of course, we'll repack, put structural integrity back into the foundation, install a drainage system, run it to our pressure relief pumping system. Of course, then
So you actually are pulling that water from around the inside perimeter to the sump pump and pumping it away. So we have no water underneath this beautiful floor or on the outside. And now you've added something called Smart Power.
Gary, this thing's incredible. This is a backup system that will last up to 5 to 7 days if the power were to ever go out. Works off electric or battery, so if the primary pump's getting overwhelmed, it'll
keep pumping even in a power failure.
One of the best features we got.
One other thing I know the EverDry system has incorporated is the Easy Breathe.
This is an incredible feature. It's an air exchange unit. We'll exchange air in your home 8 to 10 times a day, pulling out musty odors, cooking odors, cigarette pipe odors, mold, mildew, spores, anything of that nature.
Interesting. I was talking to the homeowner. They said when the big wind blew through a couple years ago, power was out for a couple days. They could smell that basement smell again, so it's doing its job.
Well, our homeowners helped us establish this through our research and development department. They were calling in saying the basement's waterproofed, it's bone dry, but you know, it's a basement, still get the smells because you're underground.
And again, all this additional space. Now, does your system have an energy tax credit at all?
Absolutely, Gary. We were approved this year up to $1,500. That is for any jobs installed in the year 2010.
All right, so reclaim some additional living space in your home and quit fighting the mold and the insects. You might want to call my friends here at EverDry Waterproofing. Well, each Sunday when we get together, I like to bring you an expert guest in a given field of home improvement. And one guest over the years has been Charlie Begley with EverDry Waterproofing. They always talk about how they do it right. Well, recently I caught up with a homeowner who chose EverDry Waterproofing to do their basement. It was a mess, and here's what she had to say. With me is the homeowner, Cheryl Hernandez, and how bad was the basement? How bad did it leak?
One part of this wall here just started kind of shooting out water a little bit. We're like, oh, we really got to fix this.
Sure. Let me ask you a couple of questions about the process. Number one, why did you choose EverDry?
We had 3 other companies come out and give us estimates. Okay. And they basically said, well, we can anchor the wall, we can put stabilizing bars on. They did mention the carbon fiber like we do have now, in addition to the drainage system. But to me, it didn't feel like that fixed the whole entire problem. I said, there's gotta be something better than this. So my husband looked up and called EverDry. He said, you know, this is a well-known company. So he called them, they came out. They even drew us pictures of what a house looks like with this kind of foundation. Sure. And the drainage system that would be installed. And I said, well, that fixes inside and out.
Right.
And it doesn't look horrible when someone comes to look at the house. There's all these anchors all over the
Right,
wall.
right.
So we felt that that was the best choice since they explained it thoroughly, drew pictures.
How about the process of waterproofing the basement? How long did it take? How great of a job did they do?
They got it all done in 1 week. They had one guy downstairs and the rest of the crew outside. They dug up by hand and got everything squared away, and they informed me every day through the process, this is what we see, this is what's going on, this is how this is going to work. And I got to see that the basement floor was actually wet underneath and how the old sump pump was, and it wasn't installed properly. And they cleaned up better than I would have thought that a crew would clean up.
The lifetime transferable warranty, that was a big deciding factor also.
Oh, absolutely.
Would you think a leaky basement just causes stress? And if you feel that way, does it feel like the stress has been lifted?
Yeah, I feel like a great amount of stress is lifted. We were actually going to put the house up for sale, and we found out once the water started coming in, I'm like, oh, there's no way. So now that it's guaranteed, we can transfer the warranty when we're ready to sell. We're actually deciding to finish the basement now that we know that we won't have a problem, and if we do, it's guaranteed to be fixed.
Well, Charlie, your guys did a great job. I can't tell you how fresh it smells. No more leaky basement, no more mold. Great job. One thing I noticed right away is the floor and the foundation, there's not a gap there anymore.
Correct, Gary. We don't have to put that gap in there because we actually control the water from the outside with our outside drainage system, the pipe and gravel, and then of course we put an interior drain to capture the groundwater.
And that's the perforated pipe that you actually bury beneath the slab. Now, where do you take that water?
We'll slope everything positively towards our sump well over there, our pressure relief pumping system.
And I noticed you moved the sump well. The sump well was here. You now have it in the corner.
Correct.
So.
The pump well they had was not functioning. The tiles were very high going into it. There was no slope, so the water wasn't really getting to the pump.
Great job. Now, does that have a battery backup pump also?
Yes, sir, Gary. Our smart power backup system will last for up to 5 to 7 days in a power outage. Best one on the market.
Great. Of course, one of the problems was the leaky basement. The bigger problem was the foundation that was bowing, and you solved that.
Well, absolutely, Gary. When you're just installing an interior drainage system, the surface water from the outside is going to find a way to get in, and of course it'll start undermining. Our system carries the water away from the outside. We've repacked all the footings. Of course, we applied our stable wall bracing system to put structural integrity back into the foundation.
Caulked the cracks, added a little steel beams where it was actually moving from the top, and you also added an easy breeze system.
The Easy Breathe ventilation system is probably the best feature we offer. It's an air exchange unit. We'll exchange air in your home about 8 to 10 times a day.
Now, Charlie, what about the warranty?
Gary, we offer a lifetime transferable warranty with our patented multi-step system.
All right, leaky basement, bowing walls. You can give my friend Charlie at Everdry a call. Well, wet basements can cause many problems. Health problems, they don't smell very good, you can't use the square footage in your own home, and of course the value of your home is decreased. With me is Charlie Bagley. He's with Everdry Waterproofing. And Charlie, this home has some real problems with leaks and other issues.
They've tried to do waterproofing here previously by installing an interior drainage system.
Now, what is an interior drainage system? I know Everdry does it right. They do the inside and the outside.
Correct.
Tell me what an interior drainage system is.
They'll open up the floors, lay tiles underneath the floor, put in gravel, and of course the sump pump, and re-cement the floor up to within about a half an inch of the wall, quarter inch to half an inch
the floor
gap.
and the wall, there's a gap there. What's that all about?
Well, they warrant the floor, so any water coming through the walls or seeping out will run down into the gap, which will keep the floor dry. But this can create a lot of problems because the water has to get to this sump pump, and if it can't get through the wall, it may run underneath the footing, which will create undermining, cause it to move.
Now we have a wall that's a little bit bowed here. Is this caused by all those issues we spoke of?
This is a pretty severe bow. You can see the wall is starting to break. Well, it's actually broke. And the wall's starting to bow now because, again, the footing has moved down because of the undermining created by this water getting to this. And it still leaves a lot of moisture in the basement. You know, they don't warrant moisture.
They did do a sump well, but those pipes seem awful high.
Well, I have to agree with you. The pipes are very high. I mean, if this piping's running all the way around your basement, it's like the gutters on your home. If it's not running downhill, that water's going to be laying in areas, which again will keep the ground real soft and allow that footing to move.
Sure. And of course, whenever you have a leaky basement and you have issues, we have some joists back there with some mold, we have some decaying wood, we've got insect issues. But the biggest concern in this case, I think, is not necessarily the wet basement, it's the foundations coming down.
The actual structure, yes, sir. It's fractured. And of course, we're going to come in here and take care of all these problems for them.
And EverDry, of course, is going to do it the right way. We'll let you get started because I know once the work's done, this basement's going to look great. Wow, Charlie, your guys did a great job. I can't tell you how fresh it smells. No more leaky basement, no more mold. Great job. One thing I noticed right away is the floor and the foundation, there's not a gap there anymore.
Correct, Gary. We don't have to put that gap in there because we actually control the water from the outside with our outside drainage system, the pipe and gravel, and then of course we put an interior drain to capture the groundwater.
And that's the perforated pipe that you actually bury beneath the slab. Now, where do you take that water?
We'll slope everything positively towards our sump well over there, our pressure relief pumping system.
And I noticed you moved the sump well. The sump well was here. You now have it in the corner.
Correct.
So.
The pump well they had was not functioning. The tiles were very high going into it. There was no slope, so the water wasn't really getting to the pump.
Great job. Now, does that have a battery backup pump also?
Yes, sir, Gary. Our smart power backup system will last for up to 5 to 7 days in a power outage. Best one on the market.
Great. Of course, one of the problems was the leaky basement. The bigger problem was the foundation that was bowing, and you solved that.
Well, absolutely, Gary. When you're just installing an interior drainage system, the surface water from the outside is going to find a way to get in, and of course it'll start undermining. Our system carries the water away from the outside. We've repacked all the footings. Of course, we applied our stable wall bracing system to put structural integrity back into the foundation.
Caulked the cracks, added a little steel beams where it was actually moving from the top, and you also added an Easy Breeze system.
The Easy Breathe ventilation system is probably the best feature we offer. It's an air exchange unit. We'll exchange air in your home about 8 to 10 times a day.
Now, Charlie, what about the warranty?
Gary, we offer a lifetime transferable warranty with our patented multi-step system.
All right, leaky basement, bowing walls. You can give my friend Charlie at EverDry a call.